We are. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome. How are you all doing? Don't know why I've got my headphones on because I'm not listening to anything. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. Let me know where you are in the world in the chat. Always interested to hear where my viewers are hailing from. Hope you're all well. You all had a nice weekend. Yesterday's race was very interesting, and we're going to talk all about it today. Yes, we are. I'm sure you've seen all of the videos covering everything, talking all about all the different things that's gone on, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I like to try and do things that are a little bit different on my channel, and obviously, how many different ways are there to talk about a race that just happened? Hello, everyone. Right, all the chats are coming in now. Apologies if there's any frame rate issues or anything. I've been having some issues with the internet this morning, so yeah, hopefully it won't buffer or anything, but I've lowered the bitrate a little bit to compensate. But anyway, so I want to go over the race, and I've broken it down into sections. I've got some nice graphics on the screen to accompany. So hope we're all well. What are we saying, everyone? Yeah, so where is everyone? Cardiff, Huddersfield, Brixton, Germany, Romford. Yes, Six all does stuff. Repping. Appreciate that. Amsterdam, Germany, Spain, South Africa, Singapore, Stuttgart. Love it. Truly global audience. Netherlands. Thank you to all my Dutch fans. I feel like I should learn Dutch. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they're definitely... You Dutch are the biggest kind of outside of the UK in terms of viewers of my channel. Apart from the Americans, actually. Believe it or not. London, India, Finland, Nottingham. Never been to Nottingham. I've always heard it's nice. Italy, India, Brisbane. Luke, yes. I've been to Brisbane, haven't I? Love Brisbane. Coventry, Latvia. Almost went to university in Coventry. I went to Bournemouth, but Coventry was my second choice to do automotive design. But I decided against it. San Francisco, rah, crazy. Hong Kong, Bristol, mad. Wales, New Zealand, love it. Anyway, right, I could read these forever. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Do appreciate you taking the time during the day. Again, I want to kind of let's break down the sections. But first of all, let's jump into the results. So how did the results go? Well, look at this. Lewis, Max, Charles, 1, 2 and 3. Now, we're going to quickly jump to another screen because if anyone watched my qualifying show on Saturday, you'll see that these were my predictions. Lewis, Max, Charles. And Charles' biggest surprise and Nico biggest letdown. Now, I'm not being... Again, these were my qualifying predictions, but these were spot on for the race. Like, come on, Matt. I'll tell you what, mate. When I looked at this after, I was like, mate, I've absolutely nailed that. But yeah, that was for qualifying. So anyway, back to the actual race results. Again, Lewis P1, Max P2, Charles P3. My driver of the day, I've gone with Pierre Gasly, and my L of the day, Lance Stroll. Numerous people who could have could have made it into either of those categories, but that's what I'm saying. So first of all, I guess, well, in terms of the top three, Lewis, dominant. Obviously, things materialised, didn't they, towards the end, which was pretty wild. But we'll get into that. I've broken this video down so I don't just... Because as you know, for anyone, long-time viewers, I do waffle a lot. And I do find it very difficult to be concise with my words. So I need a bit of support. So there you go. But yeah, Max P2 as well. Great result for him. Way more than he could have... Oh, Owen, mate, you're too kind, man. £5 from Owen. Appreciate that, buddy. Watched the Grand Prix at 3 in the morning today because of work. If it hadn't been for the last couple of laps, I'd have been fuming, bruv. Literally, like, I was watching it, and at times I just clocked out, and I was just doing other things around the house because I couldn't be asked. But yeah, obviously the ending was mad, and we'll get onto that. And then Charles P3. I said in quali I think Charles is a bit of a dark horse, and I think he'll do well this race. And I know that Ferrari's not on point, but again, there does seem to be a difference between Charles's Ferrari and Sebastian's. There's no, Seb's not that much off the pace compared to Charles. yet he's way down the order. There's obviously something. I feel like, to be honest, you've got a discrepancy of car between Max and Alex, and you've also got a discrepancy of car between Charles and Sebastian. That's clear as day, I think, if you ask me anyway. I can't remember. I think Charles got official driver of the day, didn't he? I'm not sure. I was looking at an article, but I think that was just a BBC article, so I'm not sure who actually got driver of the day. I genuinely don't know. But anyway, I've gone with Pierre Gasly. There was a lot of potential. Obviously, Daniel Ricciardo, P4. Esteban Ocon, I thought, solid result, P6 for him. But Pierre Gasly, he's absolutely killing it at the start of this season. He's smashing it. He's proven that his time at Red Bull is not representative of his ability as a racing driver at all. And again, we'll get more into that in a bit. Oh, Lifty Lucas, thank you, mate, for the 99 Australian cents. Appreciate that, pal. Thank you very much. So Pierre smashed it. He's in an AlphaTauri, which I don't even think is part of that midfield, really. You kind of got, you've got the midfield as Racing Point, McLaren, Renault, and then you've got Haas, Williams, and Alfa Romeo kind of down here, and then AlphaTauri is kind of in the middle, I feel. And Pierre smashed it, man. He's been doing so well this season. He's obviously very in tune with that car, and it goes to show, different cars can have different ceilings of performance, but if it doesn't work for a driver, they're going to struggle. And again, this is what I'm saying, like, for both Pierre and Alex to have real issues with that Red Bull says a lot, I think, because they both did very well in the Toro Rosso. Pierre's proven that actually he's a very good driver, and that Red Bull representation was not a bit of him, you know what I mean? And I feel like, I hope Red Bull see that there's no smoke without fire. And of course the drivers are responsible, but also those cars, I don't know, man. It says a lot that Pierre's gone back to AlphaTauri and he's smashing it. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, and then my L of the day, again, numerous drivers could have got this. Alex could have got this with his move at the start, which I'll talk about in a bit, and having to break through the grids. Who else could have got it? I think Sebastian could have got it, and again, not necessarily for his own fault, just because he went backwards, if anything. I know he managed to get a point, but if those blow-ups hadn't have happened, he'd have been well out of the points. Who else had a poor showing? Obviously, Bottas got very unlucky and ended up being completely out of the points. Not really his fault, well, not his fault at all, really. Kvyat, again, we don't know for sure. Oh, Liam Quinn, mate, thank you for the £2. Ferrari making Seb look like a wanker. They are. I think, yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Hello, everyone who's joined, by the way. 673 people. Wow. You lot are mad. And yeah, there's a few names, but I think Stroll, with all of the hype going into that race of second Mercedes and all that, he just seemed to go backwards. And again, maybe I think that they don't seem to know what was wrong with the car, and I think he proved in Hungary that he can have pace. And I do think that the car just wasn't in the window for whatever reason this weekend, even though it's there as home a Grand Prix as you can get, because they're literally based at Silverstone. But yeah, shame for Lance, but I'd say he'll be the most disappointed with today. But anyway, hello everyone who's just jumped in, by the way. We're just about to get onto the race breakdown, so I've just been having a little waffle to start with. Over 700 people. You mad. LOTD is like L of the day. You know what I mean? Like lose of the day. Again, a few people could have got that, but I went with Lance. So let's go to the race recap. So first and foremost, we have to talk about Nico Hulkenberg and the fact that he didn't even get to start the race. When it rains, it pours. And, I mean, it's just been an insane last kind of 3 days for him, hasn't it? And obviously gutted for him to not get that opportunity. I think his neck would have struggled a lot during that race, because Silverstone's such a fast-paced track with a lot of quick corners. I mean, Nico said himself he was struggling after qualifying, going into Sunday, and after free practice as well, because it does take time for drivers to kind of regain their neck strength. They say at the start of every season, and obviously didn't even get to race. It was a power unit issue, I think, wasn't it? I think, look, Nico, I think, given Lance's lack of pace in the race, I think Nico would have been well out the points. So I don't think we lost an opportunity for him to get on the podium necessarily, unless there was some mad strap that they went with. Obviously a shame for him, but obviously with Sergio being quarantined for 10 days, it doesn't look like Sergio's going to be in the race next weekend either. So Nico looks like he will get an opportunity, hopefully, fingers crossed, for the 70th anniversary Grand Prix next weekend. So we'll see. But yeah, man, it's still a shame for him, man. It's such regardless of their next stuff, Nico would have been gutted, and it's so unlucky, man. For it to happen to him, of all people, you know what I mean? All the 20 cars, and how infrequently that happens as well, because a lot of times you see teams starting from the pit lane. You had Max crashing on the outlap last weekend, yet still managed to actually race. And the one time a car can't even, like DNS, can't even start, is bloody Nico. But there we go. Did you see his next stop in his armrest? No, I didn't actually. Ultimate Local, I didn't. I don't know if they made something special for him. I wouldn't be surprised. But there we go. So that's Hulkenberg covered. Let's get on to Albon versus Magnussen. So, as I have proclaimed numerous times, Alex is my favourite driver. And something I need to reiterate to some people as well is that, because some people said to me, "Oh, do you still like Alex now that he's..." Yeah, of course. Like, I'm a West Ham fan, and West Ham are crap. Yeah, I support them. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really matter. Like, my support goes with... If I just supported the best, I'd just support Lewis, wouldn't I? Now, I think this incident, Albon Magnussen, what interesting to see, like, say in the chat, and yes, Alex Al bottled it. It's a great meme. Who was at fault for that? Let me know in the chat who you think was at fault. Or if you think it was a racing incident. So I either say type Alex or Kevin or racing incident. Because I've seen a pretty kind of split down the middle. I feel like people are very split on this. And for me, I think like the incident itself, I would edge towards racing incident. But like I said on Twitter, I think Alex was very silly for going for a move like that on that part of the track that early on in the race. Because look, Alex started. So what's everyone saying? Racing incident, Magnussen, racing Mag at fault. Probably sitting. Interesting. I think most people were saying racing incident. But otherwise it's very split, and that's the thing. Like we've got to appreciate, we've all got a different perception of this, and obviously the marshals, not marshals, the stewards decided that Alex was at fault in terms of a 5-second penalty, and I think a lot of that was probably to do with the outcome for the fact that it ruined Kevin's race, completely destroyed his race, and Alex managed to carry on, luckily. And again, I'm edging towards racing incident. If you've got like Alex at fault here, Kevin at fault here, racing incident here, I'm kind of just here. I do think it was more Alex's fault than Kevin's, personally, because I just don't think Alex was near enough up the side. And because of the corner, because there's no runoff, the gravel at the side, and it's the first lap, man. That's the thing. Like, I would say racing incident, but for him, people have talked about Alex being patient, right, and to be more patient, and I haven't necessarily agreed with that a lot of the time. So with Brazil, obviously Lewis. So I think Lewis did to Alex at Brazil what Alex did to Kev yesterday. That's the way I see it. If anything, a bit less. Again, I'm erring towards racing incident, but it's so difficult, man. It's so difficult to make a nailed on call because these things happen so quickly. But yeah, I don't think like when Lewis punted him either of those times. I think Alex was entitled to, and he wasn't at fault for those incidents. And at the end of the day, like especially Austria, he made that move stick, and it wasn't his fault. And you know, if he makes that move and Lewis doesn't understeer into him, he's a hero, and he probably wins the race. You know what I mean? So. I think that's harsh to say, but I think in this instance, I was just like, just come out of it. Like, you're gonna get past Kev. You've got a lot more pace in that Red Bull. Like, he's proven it, because as much as like Alex's what am I saying? Qualifying has been poor this season, but he has always managed to come through. Not that he should have to, but he has managed to make those passes and overtakes, which Pierre couldn't. Let's be honest. Like, that was Pierre's bugbear, is that he was poor qualifying in that Red Bull and he wasn't able to cut through the field. Alex has proven he can cut through the field, but he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't be doing that in the first place. And I'm just like, bruv, it's a 53 lap race, whatever it is. Like, don't go for that move up the inside of Kevin Magnussen as well. Who, you know, Kevin's going to get his elbows out. He's not just going to be a simp and let him go by. And yes, Kevin could have left him more space. And I think, again, that's why it's racing incident and not just one driver's fault or the other, because both of them have to take a degree of fault. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's tricky, innit? It's tricky. And I think, like, Alex, I'm still confident Alex will come good. I am. Because I do believe that a lot of that is the fault of the car. And I think, to be honest, I think if Red Bull had given Pierre more time, then Pierre would have come good in that car as well. But Red Bull would have to acknowledge that as long as they're building that car so precisely for Max's driving style, which is quite snappy, high rake, all that, which is what Max has been used to his whole time in the team, then Red Bull have got to concede that the other driver, it's going to be very difficult to find another driver who's going to adapt to that well. Because you talk about people like Perez potentially, because Perez, like, on paper, Perez could do a great job in that Red Bull. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't, like, if he was to lose his seat at Racing Point, if Red Bull were to go for anyone, I think Perez would be a great shout. And I think he'd probably do a better job than Alex. But it's difficult to say because that car is so edgy. And again, if Perez got that seat and he struggled, that would close that book and prove 100% that it's that car being so catered to Max, in the same way that the Ferrari seems very catered to Charles at the minute. But we don't know. So there you go. Anyway, I'm moving on because I've waffled. We talked to. I think there's way too much media on Alex at the minute because I don't know. It's just like, I think the same with Pierre. Pierre was under so much media pressure. No wonder he crumbled. No wonder he didn't perform. And I think, you know, it's the same at the minute with Red Bull, if you ask me. And also regarding Pierre, quickly as well, I don't think he should go back up to Red Bull. No way. What that's just gonna no. I think Pierre needs an opportunity for in a different team, to be honest. And I think he could do a great job in a different team. I really do. I think his pace is up there, but I just think that Red Bull's too much of a poison chalice for him to. What if Pierre goes back and then exactly the same thing happens? Because he was smashing it Toro Rosso before he went to Red Bull, and he's smashing it again. What's saying that won't happen again? I think he needs to get out of the Red Bull family, to be honest. But anyway, on to race recap, screen number 3. Let's talk about Daniel Kvyat. Now, I don't think there's been confirmation. I've looked. I haven't seen absolute definitive confirmation that it was a tyre blowout. But I don't know. It's tricky because everyone else's tyre issues were the front tyres. They were all the front left. But Kvyat's looked like it was the rear right, didn't it? Because that kind of went down and then he spun. So I don't know. What do we? Is it confirmed either way? Bless you, Hannah Stephen. Is it confirmed either way? I don't know if it is. Obviously, he seemed kind of quite apologetic. But I don't know what people are saying. I think that was a tyre blow and it was a punch 100%. Because there isn't, sometimes with some of the cars, you get the camera facing backwards, don't you? And that obviously would have proven it without. But the way it just snaps so quickly, I don't know. Tricky. Hi, Freddie. Good to see you, mate. So I don't know. I think Kvyat's response, obviously, he was very upset with himself. People giving him stick for doing that to the camera. I mean, come on, man. It's heat at the moment. Like, he's just had a massive off. And he's upset, wound up. Like, he's not attacked the cameraman. He's just pushed the camera out of his face. I don't think that's a big deal. I think, like, come on. Let the man be emotional. You know what I mean? I think that's fine. And Kvyat was actually having a really good race. I think that's why he was extra kind of frustrated, because I think he was slowly starting. Yeah, didn't he say he was distracted, Santi? Yeah, he did mention he was playing around with some bits. I think maybe it was a combination of two, because obviously having a blowout is going to be hard to catch as it is going through that kind of high speed corner. But especially if you're fiddling around with switches and that, no chance. So straight into the wall. A shame for Kvyat, because I think he was having a good race, and I think the AlphaTauri seemed to. Oh, Abdullah, thank you for joining Friends of Tomo. Appreciate it, pal. Man's joined the channel. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the AlphaTauri suits Silverstone quite well, so it'd be interesting to see how they do next weekend. But yeah, there we go. So on to number 4, and we're talking about it. Was it a boring race? Well, in parts, yes. I think DRS didn't do us any favours. There was a big train behind Grosjean, because obviously Grosjean didn't pit and he stayed on the mediums for track position, but there you go. But yeah, I don't know. There were some good battles like in the midfield. Obviously, you had like Lando, Carlos, Daniel all battling. Actually, last year it was pretty similar, because I obviously say if I had to pick a team, I don't have any particular affiliation with any team, but I'd probably say McLaren. Thank you, Guy, for the 199, mate. Guy, you give me too much money. Spinala, yeah. Spins for Kvyat this time. But yeah, I don't know. So last year I was kind of sat amongst loads of Renault fans. I think there were more Ricciardo fans. And obviously I was rooting for the McLaren boys more than I was the Renault boys, even though I love Daniel. He's like my second favourite driver. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's the midfield fighting is great, and it's just that DRS train, man, just killed the race, because Silverstone's not known for being a bad overtaking track. And again, like, for me, you can't criticise the track. It's the regulations that have got us to this stage where they're creating cars that are mad fast, fantastic, but they can't overtake each other. DRS, all this shit. And it's just like, 2022 needs to come round. It's such a shame it got pushed back, but obviously I understand with COVID and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Like, it's fair, but I think, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's just annoying that it's been pushed back to 2022, because I think we're going to see a lot more boring races like this. But hopefully, strategy and all that will be great. Like, that'd be fantastic. Oh, Liam, thank you for the 199. I think Haas could really do with a driver change. Yes, Grosjean needs to be out of that car. Kevin's a really good driver, I think. But Grosjean. Oh, Freddie, mate, appreciate the $5. Can I be your chat? Have you bought your way to channel moderation? Look, I tell you what, Freddie. You can moderate the chat. There you go. You can moderate the chat. But if you're not good with it, I will take it away from you, even though you've paid me. No, thank you, Freddie. You're a channel member. I appreciate the support, man. But yeah, so this point, that's all I really want to say on this point. It's just the regs, man. The regs are annoying, and I really want them to just hurry up and get to 2022, when hopefully we'll get closer racing. If we get close racing like we did in a lot of the midfield for some of the race before the DRS train started, if we have that at the front, come on, man, that would be sick. Our sport will be infinitely more entertaining if we're getting those proper battles right at the front for first and seconds. You know what I mean? It will be so much, and it'll bring a lot more people in. The sport will be stronger. The sponsors will get more out of it. More sponsors, more money, more long-term longevity to the sport. Everyone wins. So there you go. But anyway, on to the next point on Romain Grosjean himself, his driving. Now, obviously, again, he was up in P5 because Haas elected to not pit and try and do some. I think they were banking on another safety car coming out, because then everyone would have pitted again, probably. Grosjean wouldn't have lost too much, and then he would have had track position. And obviously with the DRS train, it was hard to overtake. But obviously his medium tyres fell away. And then there were two incidents, one with Sainz and one with Ocon, where he's moved under braking, and it's like, you know, he got a black and white flag for a reason. I don't know if he got a black and white flag for the next one. I'm not sure. But regardless, listen, I don't like to be negative Nelly. You know what I mean? Corey Hart Sim Racing, thank you for the $2, buddy. All these darn pay moderators in it. That's funny, man. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like Kevin has proven and proves in qualifying that he's a very adept F1 driver. And I think Kevin, actually, you know what? I would love to see if Alex lost that Red Bull seat, which I think would be, obviously I'd be personally hurt. But if it did happen, I think Kev in the Red Bull, I think he could do a good job. You know what I mean? I think Kev would do a great job in that Red Bull. Again, we don't know if that, he'd handle that kind of car, but I think he's used to driving a heap of crap. So I think anything else is an update. You know what I mean? But yeah, Grosjean, those moves, man, they're just like, they're not on. Like, you can just see how he's like, you can't, like, when Lando passed him, you see how much space Lando gave Grosjean. He went round the outside and he gave him like about 14 car widths of space, because you just like, you can't trust Roman. And I don't like to pull a guy down, you know what I mean? But I'm just calling it how it is, how I see it, and how most people see it. You know what I mean? Or a lot of people are saying no about K-Mag in a Red Bull. Bruv, I think K-Mag in a Red Bull, I think he'd surprise you. I really do, because I think K-Mag's got pace. But I don't think we'll ever find out, because I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, Magnussen and Verstappen, lol. Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty mad. If Red Bull fully wanted to just go, fuck it, let's just go for it. But I don't know, man. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. As long as Albon wasn't losing his seat. But then that would be Verstappen being replaced, which would obviously never happen. Although, again, listen, I just want the best for Alex. And at the moment, that doesn't really seem to be Red Bull. But obviously, I think he will come good. But maybe opportunities elsewhere. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, Jason, mate. Thank you for the $5 Australian. $5 Australian, mate. Penalty. Granted, he was doing it in the last lap. Grosjean cross jeans is at the top level. He should serve. He should see repercussions. Yeah, I mean, again, like with his role, he's like head of the drivers thing, whatever it's called. 27 minutes. I was just checking how long the stream's been going on for. Yeah, he's head of the Grand Prix Drivers Association, isn't he? And he's just like, you expect better. And he's not a paid driver, so he's not bringing in any big sponsors. I'm just like, Haas, come on, man. Haas, come on. Now, obviously, Haas with Ferrari connections, there's a lot of good Ferrari drivers coming through the ranks. You know, potentially there could be 2 seats in that Alfa Romeo next year. Thank you, legit Zemo. You got podium right. Bottas, Rosberg equals boring. I think Rosberg's better than Bottas, definitely. But I did get the podium right, kind of, in qualifying. But yeah. Yeah, I just think, like, what was I saying? I've just completely lost my train of thought. Shit. I completely forgot what I was just saying. That's really annoying. The Alzheimer's is creeping in already, guys. There we go. Oh, thank you, Megana. Your channel is awesome. Cheers, buddy. Appreciate that. We've got over 1,000 people here. Listen to me waffle. Love that. Wish 1,000 people would listen to me in real life. But yeah, obviously, yeah, with Grosjean's position and the fact that he's making so many errors consistently. Oh yeah, driver academy, of course. Yeah. So say for example, with Alfa Romeo, you've got Schwartzman, who's looking really strong. Eilert, who's looking really strong. You've got Armstrong, who I think is solid as well. So if Kimi leaves, I don't think they'll stick with Giovinazzi personally, because he hasn't done enough, and it's difficult because that Alfa Romeo is a bit of a barge at the minute, isn't it? But maybe one of the young Ferrari guys should get that Haas seat alongside Magnussen. Maybe an Armstrong, maybe an Eilert, maybe who are the other ones? Can't remember. I only remember them 3. There are definitely others. But yeah, so, Jason, mate, thank you for the $5. Schwartzman deserves it. Grosjean is honestly, seems disinterested, and that could be dangerous. Yeah, I mean, Mick, of course. No, the reason I forgot about Mick is because, to be honest, he's the one I probably rate the least, if I'm honest. But obviously Mick's name will hold him in good esteem. I can't believe I forgot Mick Schumacher, but there you go. But anyway, yeah, Grosjean, I just think, like, I'm sorry, Roman, I don't want to be mean to you, but I'm just calling it as I see it, and I just think, like, I think he should definitely not be in that seat next year. Anyway, point number... Oh, went on to the wrong thing. Point number 6. Oh, thank you, Cho Louis Chitara for joining Friends of Tomo. If you want to join the channel, it's only £2 a month. And I'll occasionally do like live streams just for channel members, and we'll just post like... I posted a picture actually that's what's the word I'm looking for? I can't talk today, man. It's like a secret behind the scenes kind of my next video. That didn't come out right. This is the problem with live stream. You can't cut and chop, because trust me, I never get my videos done in one take. I'm always having to repeat something. Actually, let's just talk about it. In my videos, if I get through a point first time, smash it, great. If I mess up and have to restart, then I always keep messing it up. I always have to take about 3-4 attempts if I make that one mistake at the start. But anyway, Renault. Now, props to Renault. Again, I know cars were losing their wheels left, right and centre and all that, but their pace actually seemed to be better than McLaren's at times. And that's what Ricciardo was saying anyway. And Renault I think they had a new floor, and they had a couple of other new updates for this race. And I think low key, because Renault don't seem to get the plaudits, maybe because no one likes Cyril, and they're just moaning about Racing Point all the time. But yeah, I think Renault deserve a lot of credit. And Ocon, I didn't expect Ocon to do nearly as well as he did. He kept within relatively close to Daniel, and I think Daniel's an incredible driver. And I think Daniel's actually getting the most out of that Renault. You know what I mean? I feel like the McLaren's definitely the better car, but I think with Daniel in it, he can definitely fight with those McLarens. Thank you, Kieran, for the 199 above. Ricciardo is a beast. He'll be 2022 Drivers' Champ. Well, you know what? I think if he was given the equipment, I think if he had the hardware, I think if he had Bottas's seat, he would challenge for a world title, 100%. That's what I think. I really rate Daniel. I really, really rate Daniel. But there you go. Is this a Renault cap? No, it is a Ralph Lauren cap. Or Loren, however you pronounce it. But yeah, I just think Renault deserve a shout out, man. Especially Ocon. Because he had a poor couple of races, and he really needed that, I think, for his confidence. And I want to see Ocon do well, because he seems like a really nice guy. So yeah, anyway, on to the next bit. Punches galore. So, of course, we had Kvyat, by the sounds of it. Sounds like everyone thinks he had a puncher. Minton wants to come in. Do you want to see Minton? Shall I bring Minton in? Come on in. He's scratching at the door. The little pest. Right, come on, mate. Minton. Come in. Come in. Hello. Oh, hello. Woo. Look who it is. Oh, thank you for the 199 legit to Zemo. Appreciate it. Hannah's at the door. You going to come in? No? You're just going to sit there. Cool. Look who it is. Which can? Look who it is, Minton. Minton, look at the camera. Look. It's all of the viewers. Look at him. Look at him. Right, he's seen his mum. He's getting too triggered. Yes, so punches. So we had Raikkonen first, obviously. He lost his half of his front wing, and then we had, what order was it in? I think it was them. Yeah, so it was Kvyat first, then Raikkonen, then Bottas, then Sainz, then Hamilton. So 5 punches, which is obviously unusual. We didn't see it coming. And actually, the AWS tyre graphics were pretty much spot on, weren't they? Because they said 10% Hamilton just before his tyres popped. But yeah, I think look, a bit of unpredictability. Without that, the race would have been a bit of a snooze fest. Let's be honest. And I think I'm really interested. I'd love to find out how exactly that works, because obviously, when the tyre degrades, does it? These were most, apart from Kvyat's, they were all slow punches, where the tyre just started to slowly kind of crinkle up, and I don't really understand the mechanics of how it works, but I would be very interested to find out. But obviously, well, we've got a next weekend section, but I figured, we'll highlight the punches. And obviously that gave Max P2, Charles P3, got him on the podium with Bottas messing up. And Vettel managed to hold Bottas behind him as well, right at the end. Because I know people were saying about, well, we'll talk about Max's missed opportunity in a minute, as you see on the left. Freddie, Minton would be the Lewis Hamilton of dog racing. Minton's actually rapid, honestly. Because, normal sausage dogs have very, very short legs and they can't really run properly. But Minton's got, a bit of European in him, apparently, according to Hannah. So he's actually really quick. Full pelt, he's quicker than me. And I used to be quickest at secondary school. Primary school, sorry. I was rapid. Not anymore, though. Too many carbohydrates. But yeah, exactly. So anyway, on to the next section. Max's missed opportunity. Now, obviously, there's a lot of talk of this online. Were Red Bull right to pit Max? Hindsight, obviously, is a beautiful thing. I am surprised that they pitted him, personally. I feel like Red Bull were the kind of team that they would take the risk and go for it. A couple of reasons I say that. So, at the time, obviously the point of pitting, right, is to go for fastest lap. Now, Alex had fastest lap, and at the time, I watched it back. At the time, Bottas had the puncture. Alex had fastest lap, and he was in 11th, and he was catching Stroll. Now, obviously, with Bottas knowing puncture, Alex and Stroll both ended up going past Bottas, and then Alex managed to go past Stroll as well. And he was catching Stroll at a rate of knots. So he already had fastest lap. So Red Bull had, from a constructor's point of view, they had that fastest lap. Now, obviously, with Max getting the fastest lap, that gives Max more points, which means he's potentially got more of a chance of winning the title, which I understand. But from a constructor's point of view, they had that fastest lap sorted because, obviously, Bottas did pit, but he had damage to his car. So that would have made it hard for him to get fastest lap because of the puncture. He had a little bit of damage. And obviously he was caught in traffic trying to get past Seb. So he wouldn't have really been able to go for a fastest lap. So obviously at that stage, looking at Red Bull, was like, what is the value of pitting Max? Now obviously part of the value is fastest lap. But the big thing is the tyre wear side of things. That you don't want Max to have happened to him what had happened to Valtteri and eventually to Lewis. From what I've seen, yes, they were cautious. They thought, we'll cover ourselves, and you can see why it makes sense. We'll protect this second place, make sure we definitely get it by pitting. And is it worth the risk of Max potentially getting a flat and falling back? Because obviously Alex was way down in the order, so he wasn't picking up big points for Red Bull. So it's like it's tricky. It is easy in hindsight to say. You can see why. Either way, they'd have made that decision. I'm surprised with knowing Red Bull and what they're like and how they're prepared to take risks, I feel, as a team, more so than others. I'm surprised they didn't leave Max out. And he would have comfortably won that race. But, yeah, all in all, obviously, he was running third the whole race and managed to get P2. So I think that's kind of a win. Obviously, that's what Max was saying after the race. He doesn't feel like this is a big, is it lucky or unlucky? And I think that's fair. I'm surprised they didn't make that decision again because Alex did already have fastest lap and he was going to get into the top 10. But yeah, what do you all think? Everyone in the chat, let me know in the chat. Do you think, if you think it was the right choice? Sorry, so if you were in charge, if you would have made the same choice that Red Bull did, in pitting Max, say yes, and if you would have kept him out, say no. I want to see what everyone thinks. And if I just do yes and no, it's easier for me to kind of take in. Hi, Am. Good to see you, mate. Gasly popped off this race even before the punches. Solace. Gasly was on it today. I'm just going to read through some comments. The only strategy mistake is the Merc by not pitting Lewis. Yeah, I mean, they kind of thought they'd be able to get it through, but they couldn't in the end. Right, we're starting to get, so yes, from Luca, yes, no, yes, no, yes. I think the yeses are winning. The yeses are winning, definitely. Definitely more yeses. So more of you would have done what Red Bull would have done. And I think, yeah, again, it's like risk and reward, isn't it? Red Bull want to make sure that they get that constructors title wrapped up, and obviously with Alex's not being right up there at the minute. Again, he's still picked up solid points. He's still... Where is he in the driver's title? Actually, I want to have a look at the driver's standings. Because I haven't actually had a look at them since this race finished. So it'd be interesting to see how that has changed. Standings, there we go. But yeah, all in all, again, I'm surprised. Okay, so Alex is 6th in the driver's standings. And then Max is 3rd. Yeah, so I think like... As the season goes on and as things settle down, I do think Red Bull will get that 2nd place without too many issues. But man, Lewis has already got a 30-point lead on Valtteri. That's great, and Max is only 6 points behind Valtteri. Says a lot about that Mercedes, man. I don't think Valtteri is that good, if you ask me, honestly. Like he's decent. He's decent. Like I definitely think he's in the top 10 in terms of driver talent for sure, but I think someone else would, like a Charles in that seat, would do a better job. A Daniel Ricciardo in that seat would do a better job, if you ask me. Just my opinion. That's what I do. I like to put opinions out there. But anyway, on to the last talk next weekend. So of course we're back at Silverstone. The tyre compounds are going to be softer and the temperature's going to be hotter, which means that we should be getting more pit stops because the degradation on the tyres will be more. I was Lewis driver of the day, fair enough. The tyre deg should be more, which adds a bit more unpredictability, which I'm all for. You know what I mean? I feel like we need to make the best of the bad regs, and if that means tyres being more a part of that, then I'm happy for, because obviously the more pits there are, the more chance that they can mess up a pit, the more chance for strategy to be involved, because I love that side of the sport. I know some people just want to see like the best drivers winning all the time, and I understand that, but also part of, you get that in a lot of other race series where it is a level playing field, and for me part of what makes F1 unique and special is that the teams, once they've created the car, they still have a big input in terms of strategy, in terms of pit stops and all that. Kieran, mate, appreciate the extra £2. Lewis Bottas, Ricciardo. What is that? Your like order of who's best to worst, or is that who will be the top 3 next weekend? Because that's a point. So what do we think? Let me know in chat. Next weekend, back at the same place again. Who's going to be the top 3? And maybe who's going to be the biggest surprise of the day? I think Gasly. I don't see why Gasly wouldn't have another smashing performance. You know what I mean? Gasly does bits. He's a very good driver, and it's getting very bright in here. So I think he's a pretty solid bet. I think he's a solid... I haven't even looked at my fantasy league, you know what I mean? I still had Perez in there. So he would have been replaced by Nico, who didn't race. So whoop-de-doo. Janlo, should Pirelli stick to the plan to bring softer tyres next race or keep this week's tyres as rumoured? Go for the softs, man. Mix it up, bruv. Sweet. I'm happy to see, tyres popping left, right and centre and that. I mean, look, obviously, danger, yes. I understand that. But in terms of tyre deg being a lot higher, I'm cool with that, man. So we're saying Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen. I think that's just the generic. What do we think it's going to be top 3? Gasly to Q3, Lewis, Max, Alex. Oh mate, just please, Alex, please come through next weekend, please. Because it's funny actually. So on Twitter, which I can take it, I get a bit of stick from Vettel fans because I've said that I think I would pick Alex over Sebastian, which is not a hill I'm going to die on, but you know what I mean. But it's not like Seb's setting the world alight. But again, I think for both of them, it's not really... They've obviously got responsibility for not putting their cars higher up the order, but also they're both in cars that are not working with them at the minute, and they're both in very similar situations. One's a second season rookie, and one's a 4-time world champion. But it doesn't matter what your past was. It matters what you do on the day, and both of them haven't got the hardware that works with them. Anyway. But yeah, if Albon gets a podium, I'm going to be very happy. Janlo, welcome to Friends of Tomo. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you for the £2 a month. Very kind of you. Chopsticks doesn't look good, Pirelli, from a marketing point of view. Standpoint for tyres popping left, right, and centre. Yeah, that's a fair point, Chopsticks. That's a very good point. You know, Pirelli want to protect their brand, and if their wheels are blowing up all over the place. But I feel like because of circumstances in the race, because of that safety car, that's why everyone went on to hards when they did, and then tried to eke it out to the end. If that safety car hadn't have happened, then I don't think we'd have had the tyre failures that we did later in the race, if you ask me, because, again, everyone was pitting onto the hards, and they said, Pirelli, didn't they? They said like 40 laps maximum, and people were obviously getting more than 40 laps out of them, but then that was happening. So, interesting. Maybe like we could even see some free stops next week, maybe just soften it up. But it depends how hot it is, because obviously British weather is notoriously unpredictable. So it's saying it's going to be hotter next weekend, but it's a week away, so I wouldn't take much from that at all. Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look through the old chats. See what everyone's saying. Oh, thank you, Lewis Booty, 199. Bottas wins, Max P2, Alex P3, Hamilton retires. Well, I mean, Hamilton's due some bad luck. Wait, is Shmee 150 in the chat? Oh, bruv. Ha! Nice to see you, Shmee. I used to watch yours. Oh, you know what? Shmee, OG car creator. Because you don't just do motorsports, do you? But like, back in the day, man, I love like having seen your like early day vlogs of covering all these, like walking around like West London, which is not. I'm more of an East London boy myself, but I see a lot of nice motors around there. Nice to see you, mate, in the chat. And actually, what was your question? So I've just gone past it as well. Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go. What do you predict for top 3 next weekend? My opinion. Well, again, it's hard to look past Lewis, isn't it? Let's do 2. All right. So my realistic prediction is that Mercedes will learn, and it will be Lewis 1, Bottas 2, and then P3. I'm going to go with. I mean, I can't. Why would I say anything other than Max? I know it's boring, isn't it? But that's it. All right, my wild one. I'm going to go with Max win. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with. Who am I going to go with? P2. Daniel Ricciardo. No, I'm going to go Alex out. Right, I'm going to go Max win. Alex P2, Daniel Ricciardo P3. There you go. That's my like wild prediction. That's not going to happen, obviously, but yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. But there you go. Right, that's my roundup. Let's go back to the other results. So that was the British Grand Prix. It was again a bit of snooze fest at times, but it was a mad ending, and the ending results are what matters anyway. Hopefully, Nico will have a car that actually works next weekend. And hopefully, the Pirellis won't start exploding all the time. But hopefully, there will be some more pits and stuff like that. So that'd be good to see. So I'm going to call it a day. Thank you, everyone, for watching, tuning in. Appreciate you taking the time out of your Monday. We've got a very, very exciting podcast I'm filming tomorrow with a very special guest. I'm so excited to speak to the individual in question. Let's just say that the YouTube channel that they are involved with has millions of subscribers. It's good. It's going to be good. Looking forward to it. And I'm also working on another video. Again, if you're a member of the channel, you'll be able to see the little leak that I put out. Please don't spoil it. And I'll probably be putting that out. I want to put the podcast out this week, actually, because I haven't done a podcast for a while. So I might put that video out next week because I want to stagger my content so that I'm not giving myself too much to do because I'm still working a lot. So there you go. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Do appreciate you taking the time. Be nice to each other. Be nice online, okay? Everyone's allowed an opinion. Don't shoot anyone down for this. And yeah, I will see you on, and it's not WTF1, by the way. It's nothing to do with WTF1, the podcast. It's a completely different channel. But it's still to do with motor vehicles. But I'll say nothing more than that. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a good day. I've been Tomo. Follow me on Twitter if you don't already, because I'm always waffling on Twitter. James May, Will E, Will Buxton, no. PewDiePie, no. Chain Bear of WTF1. Chain Bear's not on WTF1. Sir Frank Williams, that would be sick. T-Series, no. Troops, you know what? Troops, I know Troops as well. I've met Troops a few times. Really good guy. You wouldn't, like, he gets a lot of stick for his attitude, like the persona that he puts out online, because people think he's a bit abrasive, but he's a sound bloke and he loves F1. So I would I should message him at some point, see if I can get him on. But yeah, we'll see. And someone in the chat has actually said the correct channel. So there you go. I'll leave that with you. So have a good day, everyone. I'm actually going to go now. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Be good. Stay safe. Love.